Hey, what's up, everybody? I was just taking the time to reflect on how it's been 9 years since I had top surgery. I had top surgery in January 2014. It's kind of wild to think about how like time has kind of flown by. Um, Really, kind of just bizarre. Like, what is time anyway? Um, I remember 9 years ago all the effort it took to get the insurance to approve the surgery, and just the kind of courage it took to take this step to do something radical like this, something that I wanted to do. It wasn't going to benefit anybody else but me. And so for that, I like to look back and see that 9 years ago, my nine, who I was 9 years ago, that version of me decided to make a decision to do something that felt good for only myself. Like I couldn't explain it to the people around me that had questions or didn't understand it. And it's like, it reminds me that if something feels good to you, if something you feel is gonna help you, you're not harming anybody else, you're making a choice that's in favor for yourself, and you go for it, then it's always a good decision. You know, like I think in those moments where you're doing something for you that isn't influenced by someone else, or doesn't have, like I said, doesn't have to do with the opinion that someone else might have or the judgment that somebody else might have. You're doing something where people might not understand at all. I know 9 years ago a lot of people didn't get it. It's more, there's more of uh, an understanding about this now, 9 years later. But back then, even a lot of people just didn't know, and some people want you to explain yourself, and some people want the whole story of your life, and it just goes to show like you don't have to tell them your story. You don't have to explain why something makes you happy, why something feels good to you. Um, and I guess because like I couldn't even really explain it to myself. Like I knew since puberty, like I knew since I was 12, 13, when I started developing a chest. I was like, I don't know about this. Kind of seems like a foreign object just kind of landed in my body or something. I didn't understand. And I felt a discomfort. I really did. And I couldn't explain the discomfort either. Um, and, I think so many times through my life, I punished myself for feeling uncomfortable in my body, like wishing I could just accept or just like move on. Um, but I mean, I don't know, and I don't know because like with the choice I made to have surgery, now I fully accept that choice. Like I fully accept what decisions I made for myself. Being birthed in this body wasn't necessarily my choice. Could have been my soul's choice. Like if that's your cup of tea to believe in something like that. But even that's a mystery to me. I really feel like in a big way I came here in this body to experience myself and to understand that we hold so much value, we hold so much opinion, we hold so much judgment on people's bodies, on their body parts, on what their bodies look like. There's like this whole stereotype of, if you have specific genitalia to match what you're supposed to dress like, what career you're supposed to have, how you're supposed to talk, act, be in relation to other people. There's like so many rules here on earth. And I feel like I came here kind of be a rule breaker a little bit, kind of test the societal confinement, really, the whole prison cell that's been manifested to make people become a version of what other people want them to be rather than them be their own version of themselves. And so this decision to have top surgery to me was such a radical decision that, I mean, I don't know, maybe if I lived in like the 1800s, they would have just like, if I decided to do something like that, I don't even know if there would have been doctors doing it, performing a surgery like that, but if there was, I feel like if anybody found out, that would have been a moment of like death for me and maybe that doctor. And for some reason, I find a lot of beauty in that, in making a choice where you're not harming anybody else, you're not harming yourself, but you're doing something that makes you feel happy. You're doing something you love to do. And for me personally, I would die in a moment of doing something I love or doing something that makes me happy. I think that's much more rewarding for me than to join the confinement of society and just do what is expected. Um, and really, it's just like, I'm just not talking about the surgery here. I'm talking about standing for something like peace in the world and making sure all children are loved and are safe and have clean water and access to food. And I don't know, I just feel like I would risk my life to make sure a child got fed one day. Because it's just, when you think about it, and I think about these 9 years of time, how did 9 years go by? It's like, what is time anyway? What is this life? And if I'm going to be alive, I'm going to spend it making my life better, making people around me better, hopefully, at least trying my best to do that, at least being aware that that's what I want. And yeah, it's just a matter of stepping into a version of who you want to be and not a version of what someone expects you to be, because nobody gets to live your life but you. And in that way, it's kind of fucking cool. Because again, it's like, you're the one in charge. You're the one in the driver's seat. And you get to decide how to direct your life. And you don't have to go in the flow of traffic. You could find a different exit and discover yourself in a different way. And I felt like me 9 years ago, I've had this in me, since I was young, to make choices that are going to make me feel good, to question what I was taught, to really question it and find out for myself. Yeah. So that's my 9-year top surgery reflection. And it feels good to be me. And it's a process too of constantly just being reminding myself, like, look, Mel, you're all you got. Like, you're only gonna be you in this life. You've got to figure out the ways to love the only person you get a chance to live as. This is myself. So yeah, that's what I got. Have a good day.